Yalla, yalla, yalla. Yes, the shit is raw coming at your door. You start to scream out loud, man, beast back for more. Yes, the hour's 4. I told you before, prepare for mic fights and plus the Cold War, infidels. It's about to get real cold in here, but the heat's about to come down and turn it right back up. It's the Monday locker room with all of your bullshit headlines about a phony sport, but it's real heat here on your Monday locker room. hackerhamin.podbean.com. Yalla. And Hamin Media Group, you guys, appreciate you joining both of our channels on iTunes. 62% iTunes users, so search Hacker Hamin or Hamin Media and Hamin Media Group and get every show here free, open platform. Right now, our main stage shows and all of our affiliates as we head into the final week of the 6-star Star Search Challenge. Today should be announcing the contender to take on Boar Meets World for the top spot. So it's going to be a big week this week around here. It was Rat Salad Review and the War on Morons were head-to-head yesterday, back and forth with all their great listeners. Both awesome shows. So we'll see who reigns supreme to face Boar Meets World, man, as it gets Savage in here. Not Ben Savage or Fred Savage. Hamin Savage. And the one Savage I like, his hair looks like he's ready to rock and roll. He's got it all spiked up and making me jealous that, his hairline still looks as gray as it does. It's the doctor. He probably prescribed himself some Propecia or some shit. That's what they do so they can be better than everybody else. And I can't blame him. He's my man. It's Dr. Ted. Good morning, Gimmicks.
That's what I think of before every patient appointment. I think when I walk in this door, I got to show this patient that I'm better than them in every way.
Absolutely.
Then they'll do those squats.
Well, I would, man, especially if you said if you squat, you can have hair like this. I would be down there every goddamn day, man. Oh, shit. I see the chat room filling up already here. Twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman and YouTube Bin Hamin channel. Appreciate you guys. First out of the gate, Tables, Athers, and Chairs, our own Smack Attack review, man, from the UK. Those guys doing big things, getting a lot of spots, got us mentions on Raven, got us the new Twitter gimmick where it's like a voice, a promo thing, and it looks really cool the way it takes our icon and just makes a nice little player out of it, something really awesome there. So those guys taking over that Friday spot, having to watch SmackDown, which is still the better show of anything in WWE, but really locking down that UK contingent. So shout out to Tables, Athers, and Chairs, and MacGyver making, grenades out of tampons and hand cream like MacGyvers will. Ronald Booth in the house. Amp Williams up early with us this morning. Boss Hogg out there in Hazard County. Frank's Pickle Barrel Ass is on the beaver hunt like he usually is. Our own Discord champion Colin Weislong's in the house. Fudge 420. The War Room Podcast. And Fudge 4Twiz, did I say that? They're all here, you guys, early morning on your Monday morning locker room. So wake up, and get over there on Stevie Richards' channel as well. Get yourself some inspiration right after this and start the week off on the right foot, man, Beast, because, boy, I'll get to it, but I was hot this weekend, man, and I really don't have too much of a reason to be, but I'll talk about it. How was your weekend, bud?
It wasn't too bad. It took its chance to relax a little bit, work on some things around the house, got some things maneuvered. The wife number one, I don't know how you could do the multiple wife gimmick because one is difficult enough, at least for me.
It is.
But
it can't. Well, the multiple wives is the fact that I'm usually around 3 or 4 of them, and then when they get difficult, I just shut. Like, that was your time. You had your time. You did what you wanted to with it, and then I'll see
you in a few months.
Yep, exactly. And then maybe next time around they'll have their shit together. So sometimes it works out awesome, and then other times you got to put heat on a group of them because they get too comfortable in the wives' locker room, and I can't have that. I can always replace them. That's how it is.
Well, I was just going to put over that Brittany did get she's got a new gig now. She does some kind of for insurance forensic things. I just tell people she's a forensic scientist, and she goes, well, technically that's not true. I said, I don't give a shit. That's what I'm telling people anyway.
Sounds good to me.
You're a forensic scientist now. Yeah. But so we're trying to get everything around the house ready so she can have a little office. I'm probably going to get pushed into a closet somewhere. So, it is what it is. But at the same time, it's all good in the hood.
No, I think you guys will be able to work it out there. You got that nice big front room there with by the sliding glass doors. She could be over there in the nice setup, or you could be vice versa if she's got to be in the the side room there, the Hamin suite. So
That's right. The Hamin. That's exactly. You got the Skyrise suite right here.
And hopefully I can get back down there to see you guys. I'm trying November, but who knows what's going to happen next week in the what's going down, and it's hunting season. So but yeah, you guys were just kicking and getting it ready for the big push, the new job. I like that. Tell her I said congratulations. We're proud of her.
Absolutely.
My weekend frustrating.
Oh,
so what was I worked 23 days straight last week. Between yesterday, I won't say I put in 16 hours yesterday, but I put in 12. So that would have brought me to 92 hours worked last week. So big week. And I'm not complaining at all about that because I dreamed a dream in days gone by. I dreamed back when I was 17, 18 years old about being a hip hop producer, about working in pro wrestling, like these big pipe dreams. And now I sit in a studio and I create content about pro wrestling 7 days a week. I get to spin hip hop on the live watch alongs and do the DJ stuff that I like. And, I'm making enough to pay the mortgage on the missile silo and, pay off the tanks that I have to lease just for security. But it's a lot. It's a big fucking load to hoe. But, I sit back and last night and I'm just like, dude, I'm teaching Vince Russo Discord. I'm advising AEW and WWE talent all on the same day and hooking up with ECW legends to counsel with them and just be friends. And I take a step back and go, holy shit, man, this is unbelievable. If I was to go back to 17, 18-year-old me and be like, you just fucking hang in there, Briz. What you want to do creatively is going to fucking pay off. And it's a long fucking road, but there's a lot of memories and connections made on it. So I just wanted to say I'm appreciative of that. And it didn't go by me this weekend as I tell you about the bullshit that happened to me Saturday on my day off. Because I don't want it to sound like I'm not thankful and that I'm not grateful, because I absolutely am. So muzzle loader opened Monday morning. I sent wife number 1 and number 74 and 311, I think, down to Kentucky. So they're down there now to go visit their sisters. And I was up at 5 a.m. Wake her up because she's going to be on the road at 6. I turn around, walk into our new bathroom that me and the king did over. I fucking blast my pinky toe into the fucking vanity, and it goes from here to like about 60 degrees out to the side, completely dislocated. I looked down and go, oh, I thought it was broke. Yikes. I fucking just reached down, snap it back in, scream, fucking, I can wiggle it, but I know it's not broke. Bless you. So I know it's not broke, and but it's hurting. It's hurting bad. So I power down just a couple ibuprofens, get my shit together, and head to the woods. Dark, 6:15 in the morning, up at Prince 20's house up on the hill up there. So I go to his compound, and nobody's up yet. And I make a beautiful hunt. Like, he lives up by these huge power lines and just awesome views. And he's got 60 to 80 acres behind his house. And I make a huge, 3/4 to a mile loop around the high points because it's a perfect condition. If you don't know about deer hunting, here's a little Monday Locker Room breakdown. When I shot my last 8-point, it was opening day of muzzleloader season, almost identical temperatures. It rained the night before, so you can be ninja quiet on the leaves because all the leaves have fallen. And if they get dried out, it's like walking on potato chips in the woods. You're going to be heard 200 yards away. No, you're not going to see shit. You can't, no matter how slow you go, you're fucked. So it was perfectly quiet. I was moving super slow. Got the CVA Wolf 50 caliber with me. I make a big stalk around this high hill because when the temperatures are warmer and, there's no snow on the ground, the deer will stay up higher and they're going to sleep up on high. When it gets hot during the afternoons in the early season, they'll go down by the water where it's cooler because they've got their winter coats on and more fat. So they got to regulate their body temperature. So the sun is just coming up. I can see about 70% visibility, and I start up this hill and I look at this small tree and I see there's a scrape underneath it on the ground. A deer will paw out leaves just to show sign. A buck usually will when it's looking for mates. And that's one thing that it does underneath like a low hanging branch, usually about 5 or 6 feet. So there's one there, but it's a day or two old because there's some leaves in it. But I'm like, all right, I'm in the right spot. I take one more step and all of a sudden I hear up the hill about 45 yards away from me. I look up and there's a doe standing straight up face to face with me. She starts stomping her foot, which means she can't see me. So she doesn't know what I am because I'm a threat. And she's on playing King of the Mountain. Little does she know that I got a 50 caliber boomstick in my fucking hand. So usually you want to wait for a good broadside shot. I don't know if I just got angry that this deer wasn't bugging out and was just standing there like challenging me like a fucking bull, which they'll do when they can't see. So I raise up. It's a 45 degrees, the hill's about 45 degrees, 50 degrees, and it's about a 45-yard shot. It's muzzle loader. You only get one. Even with rifle, you only get one really. But I raise up, touch it off. Boomstick goes off. Big cloud of smoke and fire because it's black powder. I hear crashing through the woods. I thought I hit it in the shoulder because the way it's crashing, it sounded like it had damage. I get up there, I run up to the top of the hill, fucking look, no fur. I'm like, okay, but there's blood everywhere. I like, yes, I fucking nailed it. Get down, pick up leaves. No, that's just a yellow leaf that's turning red. Looks like it's got blood on it. No, that's another one. What the fuck? Not one drop of blood could I find. I find the trail where it starts going out and the sun's just coming up. So I go back and get my nephew and my brother to come back out. Dude, I was down on my hands and knees for 2.5 hours picking up leaves. Every one of them looked like they had blood on it and blood splatter. It was just colors changing, dude. It was brutal because
devastated.
Diva fucking stay tate, bro. It was bad. I was so like, as a hunter, you're relieved because if you're going to kill, you want to kill clean and you don't want to leave a wounded animal where you can't find it. And if a deer gets shot or a moose or anything, usually they're wounded, they're going to go to water. That's just their natural instinct. So I started to go to where the creeks are to look, but we couldn't find any blood or nothing. And we saw where it bugged out and then kind of slowed down. And if I would have hit it where we saw the track slow down, you would have definitely seen blood there. So just frustrated, like, the perfect hunt, perfect position, and hacker misses a shot. But that's why they call it hunting and not murdering, you know? Like, if you could just go out there and fucking lay waste to shit, that's so my skills are in tune. And right away, I just made myself invisible in some things I do meditation-wise when I'm in the woods. And I think that really cuts back and helps me become part of nature. But then I came home, all pissed off, went and played golf with Sideburns. He beat me by 2 strokes, so that pissed me off. And then I watched UFC, and every UFC bet that I place, which aren't much, but like even my parlays on the sure things, the people were supposed to win, every one of them fucking lost. So my day off was just one kick in the fucking nuts after the other, bro. Like the one day in 23 days where I really just wanted to like, and everything was set up to be perfect. I could have shot the deer in the morning. I could have beat fucking Sideburns at golf, and I could have won my UFC bets. And I went 0 for 3 on all of them. But any day in the woods is better than a day in the office, you know? And that's just, even as much as I love what I'm doing right now, the first day to be same conditions, same fucking different place from where I shot my 8-point, same, style of hunt. And I almost came up 2 for 2 on it. That gives me confidence for the rest of the season. Just that disappointment is like such a kick in the balls on your day off to start off and sitting down there. Every leaf I picked up, I thought I had like a winning lottery ticket.
Yes.
And I fucked every time. Imagine like finding 200 winning lottery tickets and you check them and you're like, motherfucker, they lied every time, dude. So that got me bad, dude. Sorry to go on and on, but
no, you're fine.
People were wondering why I was so pissed off in the watch along on UFC. and I didn't want to go all the way into it. I wanted to save it for Monday. It fucked me over hard yesterday, bro.
That's an epic day, though. I at least appreciate the story nonetheless. But there'll be more days in the woods, and more deer to be potentially straight up murdered. Well, no, I guess not hunted, but
hunted, killed, stalked, deaded.
Did you do any better on the football games yesterday?
I won one parlay, and then our own John Hart told me to bet. I just bet $3 on him. The dude who fought in boxing after UFC is going for some record for as many first round knockouts. So I believe that that's a complete work because boxing's shady as fuck. But he knocked him out in the first round. So I was down. One time I was up to 340. Now I'm at about 200 because I got my clock clean the last 2 weeks. I started with 100, so I'm still up 100. I wanted to try and get it to 1,000 by January, but the way I bet, it won't. And that was the other thing. That fucking cocksucker zombie or whatever it was, the Korean zombie. Everybody's like, he's gonna fucking go over and knock out. I will never bet on another Korean to win anything in my fucking life, dude. They suck at war. They suck at fucking. They're all hype. People are like, well, you got to watch this fight. Bullshit, dude. I could have walked through that guy's fucking pussy ass combinations that he was doing. Double fucking lock around him, belly to belly on the ground, and pounded him out in the first fucking minute. And what I saw was just absolute hype and bullshit from Korean Zombie. Everyone's like, he's going to knock him out in the third, fourth, or fifth. His hands are fucking lethal. He is bitch made as far as I'm concerned, and I'll fucking take him out 10 out of 10 times. I don't care if he's in my weight class or not. I'm talking about in a man's fight. I've never seen such a piss poor fucking main event of like somebody with so much hype. So fuck Korean Zombie and his whole team. He's a fucking joke.
There you have it. Should have played the Monster Mash on the way out.
Yeah, man. Yeah, the buck. I don't think it was a buck because it's people like deer over strong. Bucks got over on me. The Bucks have super kicked me over the top rope, so they did. But the fucking this I believe was a doe. All I could see was silhouette, the long face and chest, which is really not the shot you want to take. And shooting uphill, if you don't drop maybe half an inch on the way it looks, it's almost an illusion. You can see this in a lot of hunting magazines, and you'll shoot up and over. And I'm hoping that's what happened and that I missed clean, because I don't ever want to wound an animal. I mean, even though nature would take care of it, and fucking coyotes would eat or whatever, buzzards, but still, you want to wait till a deer turns broadside so you can hit right behind the shoulders through the vitals and not hit in the stomach, so you gut shot it. But I shot straight at the brisket in the front, and I thought I was close enough, and that 50 caliber wouldn't. Dude, when I shot that 8-point with it, was like, dink, dead in 2 seconds. There was no the knockdown power of a 50 caliber muzzle loader is fucking unbelievable. Way more than a shotgun, like a 12 gauge. It's a fucking heavy blast. So I would have knocked that thing right over, and there would have been some hair or fur or something, but I didn't see shit, man. And I think it was a doe, because in muzzle loader, it's brown, it's down in the opening week. You can shoot bucks or does with it. So I just wanted to get one out of the gate, and maybe tomorrow or the next day I'll be back out at 5 a.m. So we'll see.
I like you have the phrasing. If it's brown, it's down.
Yeah.
If it's brown, it's going to frown because you're going to put it down.
That's right. Pretty well. Well, I'm going to miss. Yeah. Well, I mean, in the beginning of the season, when you have bow or muzzle loader, the leaves are still super thick. So there's no way you're going to be using a rifle, which is more of a long range weapon. So you're going to, you're going to have to get in close or be in a tree stand and have a deer come into you, which I don't like to sit in tree stands. I really like the fucking Rambo shit. When I can become part of nature, move slow, and stalk a deer out of nowhere, and they didn't know I was coming. My big ass coming through the woods, bro. Very slow. To go half a mile took me fucking an hour and 15 minutes. That's how slow I'm going. Think about how quick you can walk a half mile, right? Probably like 6-7 minutes. It takes an hour and 15. So when you do that and you can get in the vicinity of a wild animal, because the deer I hunt, Dimitri was like, from Triple D was like, Sheik, I had him come up to me on the golf course. I'm like, well, yeah, they're used to seeing people every day. The deer I see never see humans unless they're fucking seeing them in the woods like that, in the deep woods. So I'm pretty happy about the hunt I put on. I just want, like, you know, it's like doing an awesome match and then you fuck up your finish and you're like, God damn it. And I think you and I both been there, man.
Yeah, it is interesting to see how animals adapt and change their environment, because that is true. I see it with weirdly enough, with like in the big cities, like pigeons are much more brave in the cities to go up near people and try to get food than they are, like, for instance, around here in Louisville, they don't go anywhere near people. So it is interesting to see how animals will change their behavior based on their environment. So I think you're absolutely right. The deers that are near the golf courses probably are used to human interaction, occasionally getting bits of food from people and not have anything to worry about, versus the ones near your area know big boom means big danger for them.
Yeah, exactly. And they know it. When the leaves fall, they turn skittish and all that shit. But I love it. I love being able to get back and do that. I just wish I would have closed the deal. Sonic the Hedgehog, Cujo, and referee John Finnegan, Bester, and LPWA Showcase all checking in this morning as well in the chat room. As we're 33 as above, so below, strong here on your Monday locker room. Hunter Hamin, Double H, and Dr. Gimmicks are here, you guys, man. Glad to be with you all. Thanks for joining us live, and thanks for joining us on hackerhamin.podbean.com. If you're getting a download of this there, or your iTunes or your Spotify or wherever you're listening to all the great content we got going along, man.
Absolutely.
Oh, son of a bitch beast.
Well, Ben, you may try to cheer up your mood a little bit.
I do. You know exactly what I need and what I want, so give it to me.
All right.
Monday morning monologue. Yeah.
Yeah, baby. Well, let's go ahead and get into some headlines and some shitty wrestling jokes. Thank you to 411 Mania for the stories. James Storm discussed his experience in his brief time NXT and what he saw down while he was there in a new interview with Lucha Libre Online, saying he likes how they hold people to their characters. Thank you to James Storm for sitting in this week.
Sorry, dude. From the top, you got robotoed from my shitty Wi-Fi.
No.
Do the joke.
All right. From the top.
Yeah.
James Storm discussed his experience in his brief time NXT and what he saw down while he was there in a new interview with Lucha Libre Online, saying he likes how they hold people to their characters. A big thank you to James Storm for sitting in his joke this week.
I like it. All right, that'll make more sense.
Paige, she may not have been part of the WWE draft, but she had her own thoughts on where she's ended up. Responding to a question from a fan about where she ended up in the draft, Paige replied on Twitter that she was drafted to Twitch. Oh, shut up. Drafted to Twitch. I guess it could have been worse, though. I expected her to get drafted to Pornhub. Cody is open to working relationships between AEW and other companies, though he doesn't see them doing a full co-promoted event. Speaking with app.com, Cody was asked if he thought AEW would ever get into doing a dual branded show with another company and was rather doubtful, though he was all for having relationships with other promotions. Cody said, I think you'll never see a full-scale joint promoted show. To which RVD said, dude, I'll totally do a joint promoted show. Game Changer Wrestling held their collective series of shows in Indianapolis, Indiana this past weekend, and the Marion County Council and City of Indianapolis gave GCW an official proclamation, marking history as the first good thing that has ever happened in the state of Indiana. Come on, Hoosiers, bring on the heat. I can take it. Oh, they shut up quick. It appears Joey Ryan has filed another lawsuit. It's been reported that Ryan filed his latest lawsuit last month in Nashville, Tennessee against Impact Wrestling parent company Anthem Wrestling LLC. Ryan is alleging breach of contract when he was released following the number of sexual assault allegations that were voiced against him on social media. This is now the sixth known lawsuit for Ryan, a.k.a. Joseph Meehan. It just begs the question, Ben, who is going to get a lawsuit? Wait a second. I got a piece of mail here. Ah, shit. He's suing me now. Damn it.
Oh, God damn. I'm not checking the mailbox.
Yeah, don't check the mail, you guys. And for our last story, poor Natalya. It appears that she lost a tooth during last week's episode of Raw. And based on a tweet Natalya shared after the USA Network broadcast, Lacey Evans knocked out one of her teeth during the Women's Battle Royal. And word has it that it was accidental. I guess meaning Lacey Evans was really just trying to get to the root of Natalya's problems. And Natalya shouldn't feel too bad, though. Nobody is going to notice she has a false tooth unless it comes out in conversation. Although I say if she opts, I think she should not get it fixed. Honestly, think of the marketing opportunities with her and that missing tooth. With the missing tooth, she could be the spokesperson for the Gap. And meanwhile, Lacey Evans could get a new gimmick as the Grin Reaper. The truth hurts, ladies and gentlemen. It has been your Monday morning monologue.
Awesome as always. The Monday morning monologue. Give it up for him in the chat room, you guys. It's Dr. Ted putting in that extra work with our headlines. Dude, the fucking, at first I kind of saw the reason for Joey Ryan to sue back, you know what I mean, to try and be a legal scumbag and wear out his accusers' legal funds. But now to go at Impact, that move I don't get a ton. You know, if it was for the rest of what his contract was worth because he got let go or something, if he wasn't on a pay performance basis. But what is 10, like, how you can even expect to get 10 million out of Impact when they're not doing anything liable to slander you or anything along those lines?
Correct.
What the fuck kind of what kind of mental midget is he right now, bro? Is this a full mental breakdown at this point where he's just telling his lawyers, I don't care, you fucking sue them, you do this, you do that, and they're like, okay, dude,
grasping at straws. He realized the wrestling ship for Joey Ryan has sailed, and he's just trying to make whatever money he can back from it, and it's just ruining his reputation. And you know, really, the whole thing is just sad. You know, it really is. I mean, especially for those, you know, that were, you know, victimized by him. But the fact that, you know, he's just rather than trying to see the error of his ways, he's just trying to recoup the monetary reimbursement that he can get. And I don't think he's going to get it.
It's not going to help you save face or get to where you want to go or ever come back in wrestling. So
yeah, empathy is out the window.
It's got to be a last ditch effort to just be a scumbag and say enough's enough. And then how about the pictures he put out with where he's like, another weird thing. People say I just adopted faith now, but I've had my faith for years. And then he puts out the fucking thing with him on his knees taking communion from the priest, and the priest couldn't look any more weird early 80s closet queer homoerotic while he touches a little chubby 10-year-old 12-year-old fucking Joey Ryan on the head as he's kneeled down before his cock, pretty much taking communion. I'm like, wow. And then he shows them with like the other altar boys and choir people who were probably also molested by Dr. fucking Mick whatever in the fucking closet earlier. But is when he put that out there as a whatever, I'm thinking to myself, well, you just found out the psychological id of where the fucking dick touching came from. Because I wouldn't doubt if it was the same game that old fucking, Pastor Mick Grab My Nuts played with him, that he fucking was fucked over by for the rest of his life, dude.
Well, if the lawsuits didn't lay it out enough, the picture certainly showed that he was ready to receive.
Definitely. I wanted to bring this up, see if I can fucking get it going here. 1 second. This way, because you spoke on Natty with the teeth. What was that? She's got
apparently her tooth was knocked out by Lacey Evans during the Battle Royal last week.
Super good workers. I'm shocked at that, you know.
Yeah, I actually am surprised too.
Here it is.
Oh, you were being sarcastic.
Episode from the past.
Hold on. So here's another weird thing she's doing. Not weird because I'm, into hot chicks, but just absolutely clueless as to what. And I don't know. I mean, I remember seeing things about Natty where TJ, when they had the show on Total Divas, where he even put her over as like a pathological liar, which was weird to me. Like that she just has to lie for attention, which could go back to her as little girl. Her dad's on the road any attention necessary, that develops into whatever habit, just like Joey Dick Toucher. You know, and we can say these things because you're already getting sued. So what the fuck's it matter?
Yeah, too late.
Let's see here. Sure.
You know what's interesting? Only because I'm trying to learn more about attention deficit disorder because I have it, and I'm trying to empower myself to just understand it better. And it was describing the different ways people have ADD. Well, let's look at this first.
I was like, you can finish your story if you want. Here we go. This was just in the brand fan group. It made me laugh just because it shows how clueless they truly are about what their value is.
We want to look back and watch an old Total Divas episode from the past.
That's her sister with the big gimmicks.
Is going to try to keep this PG-13.
Oh, well, I hope you're going to keep it PG-13.
Well, what does that mean?
I just might.
Actually, I think that was horrible.
Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me.
Stay open.
Don't hurt me.
Stay open.
Don't hurt me.
So, okay, so we're hurt. That actually really hurt. It's supposed to hurt, but not like that. Hold on. Ooh. Keep your eye on where you're hitting. I've got 6 false teeth.
I've got 10.
Okay, so guys, let's get focused. So we're about to watch an episode where Jenny and I are going to. Jenny, relax. You're not wearing a bra.
You're not wearing a bra.
You're not wearing a bra. Pull your top.
Stop it. You're not wearing a.
I'm wearing 2 bras. Actually, I'm wearing 1 bra that is striped.
So if you're into big Canadian chicks Canadian chicks with big fake titties slapping each other, this is definitely the one for you guys. Shane McMahon watches on. Please.
If it's all right, I'm actually not wearing a bra on this broadcast right now.
God damn it. Well, let me chop you real quick. So for those who couldn't, it's her sister and her who've done twerk videos and shown almost everything. Dude, these girls are one step away from joining Paige on Pornhub, especially that sister. Everything I've seen her do is some hoe ass shit. And she's got some big old gimmicks on her and she's sexy. But dude, here we are, WWE chicks on fucking TV, just slapping each other's on their fucking Instagram, slapping each other's tits back and forth. Like, okay, I'm down with it. But guess what? There is no women's revolution anymore. Just start doing your shit, get your big gimmicks out, sit there topless, and let's fucking get to where we want to go instead of like, respect me for my technical ability. I'm the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Now look at my big old hogs. Okay. All right. Sure I will. What one do you think I think about you after you tell me one and show me the other? What do you think?
Right.
You know?
Right.
It's Big Titty City from here on out. That's all I care about.
I don't know if you saw on Instagram, apparently Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose apparently made up. They were on a yacht or something. So that's good.
Yeah. Now that they did the brand split and somebody almost got murdered, we can go back to taking IG photos of our bisexual friendship and make people think about what's going on. What the fuck, man? Like, here's where sexuality will overshine the work, but nobody will hold their feet to the fire because everybody likes a pair of big old gimmicks on camera at the end of the day. So you can act like all you want, that you're fucking power with this and that.
Vince, did you see this? Should she be posting this? Well, shit, I don't care. That looks great.
Well, we had something written, but chopping titties, that's why I like that. Better write that down, pal. Write it down.
Yeah. Well, I was going to make a longer round point about ADD, and only because I think a lot of wrestlers have it. And I'm not saying necessarily Natalya has it or not, but this was an interesting point that this book was making. It was talking about different ways ADD can present. And I found a couple of ways that related to myself, but one that I personally don't have an issue with, but I know people that are this way. And it was talking about how some people with ADD will try to get their dopamine release, because essentially ADD is just a lack of dopamine in the brain. And people will get their release by purposefully finding a contrast or way to argue, even if they have to argue a point that may or may not be true. So they might be presented with an actual fact and presented with all the evidence, but they're still going to go hard the opposite and potentially even lie and go against what they know to be true, simply to have that argument because it gives them a dopamine release in the brain to be contrary to whoever the person they're talking to is. Although that was really interesting.
That is interesting, man. And I could see that with, like I said, TJ kind of exposing her as a pathological liar. Like that's any little shot of attention, right?
Dopamine. Yeah.
I go back to Bishop Don Magic Juan on the Pimp Show, and he goes, maybe it wasn't Bishop Don Magic Juan, it was one of the other guys that was on the Pimp Show on HBO. But he goes, I don't care if it's your mama, your sister, every little woman got a little hoe in them, and if you give her to me, she going down the track to sell some pussy. And I see that. I remember that from high school, watching that funny little fucking Pimp Show on those guys, but. To me, that's the reality. She's a superstar. She's a second generation wrestler. She's in a legacy of Harry Smith to Bret Hart to everybody tied to her. But at the end of the day, if you put the right amount into it, you could have her doing whatever you want to, easily controlled, showing that there's a little hoe in them, no matter how much money and investment and everything else you put into them. You can still bring that out of them. I don't care what your mama, your grandma, whoever, bro. And things like this prove it. So that these are just the weird, dude. Could you imagine you and I getting contracts and then we're in a bed together, sitting in there banana hammock wise, and I reach over and flick your dick, and like we think that's fucking funny for the fucking internet? That would be the identical fucking 50-50 women are equal to men fucking version of this, wouldn't it?
I guess, but man, that would be
it's the weirdest fucking shit ever, bro. The weirdest. It would be the weirdest shit ever, and we'd be blackballed like that from the industry. But here, get them big old gimmicks out, and here's the other thing. What's the last thing you do as a pro wrestler that when other top veterans see it, where they roll their fucking eyes? If you go up and give another wrestler a chop in the locker room, or go up and do the ha-cha and you do the fake shit and you're doing the fake fighting good brother shit, that is indie locker room, second and third year wrestler, total fucking douchebag mark in the locker room. Like every other wrestler worth his salt, if you look in the corner and somebody comes in the locker room and starts giving little chops and little brother chops and that shit, you are labeled in everybody's mind as a fucking complete tool. And now here, the WWE superstar and her sister are doing mark chops back and forth. Open up for me. You don't have a bra on. Like, for those who don't know, you can go to the brand fan group on Facebook, Russo brand fan group, and check that video out if you want, or go to my YouTube, Ben Hamin, and it'll be on there as well, you guys. But if you like big gimmicks and shitty chops, they're for you. Anything else on that, Beast?
It's like the douchebags at the gym. You know what I mean? The guys that go in there and just doing all that. It just showing off, and there's no reason to really be showing off. It's
none.
Okay.
It's another shot of dopamine, really, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they want that. They want that. I guess affirmation. Yes, exactly.
They want somebody to go,
"You are my tribal chief."
But you know, Acha, brother. Yeah, and like, dude, shut the fuck up and sit down. You're not impressing nobody with that shit. Keep an eye out though. Dick flick video from Man Beast and Ben Hamin coming soon, you guys. Too flick me, bro. What else? Oh yeah, dude. When I snapped my toe back in, that was a motherfucker. Like to look down at 5 a.m.
So have you determined it's not broken?
I can move it.
Okay. Has it turned black and blue yet?
It turned a little bit purplish, but not real bad. And I have been moving it, with my hand.
Yeah.
So I
mean, not that you can really do a lot for a broken toe anyway.
No, but yeah, dude, that was a shitty way at 5 a.m. to start my hunting season. Fuck, that hurt too, man. It's just more when you look down and your toe is 90 degrees out the fucking side compared to where it was 2 seconds ago. It just fucks with your head, dude. Oh shit. This dude, I swear it's too early for this shit. Who's fucking I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on in the chat room here. Guys are having a good time, though. We're up early. But we're about to ruin all that, Man Beast.
Oh, boy.
I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you're used to with today's headlines. Are you ready to rock and roll, Beast? You got anything else, man?
I don't think so. I'm trying to figure out what was going on in the chat room.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not like the head rat was ribbing on somebody, but I'm not sure what's going on. They're talking about Marco stunting the dildo spot in there. I didn't even really cover that, nor did I want to. I mean, I've told you who runs this business, and if you're doing dildo spots in your match, you can guess who's calling it. They said, you're good, bro. Just remarking on your over-the-top nature. Me getting hot. Well, that's how I do it, man. I turn it up early on Monday because I got the Broasters coffee running through me. Go to thebrosters.com right now. Official Russo Bro 5-pound bag is ready to go, you guys, as well as the original. If you don't want to stock up for Plandemic Part 2, which is coming. So it'll be a real interesting week this week with all the Hunter Biden emails. Who knows what Triple H is up to with Biden at this point? They've been kayfabing for so long. I'm excited to see all about this Hunter Biden stuff. But we'll be covering that. And we may even do a live watch along with Conspiracy Horsemen for Debate Part 2 night. Maybe we'll do a little Mystery Science Theater 3000 with it if the guys want to. But it's going to be a big week here. And
speaking of debates, Bello had reached out to me, and he's still disappointed nobody is willing to step up and face off. Bello has said, because let's face it, these presidential debates, they're canned and they aren't really getting into the meat of the issues of what's really going to happen when they're president. So I wanted to try to facilitate an actual debate talking about whether or not honestly, I don't like either politician, but Bello has said he will take up the banner for Trump in a debate if someone's willing to stand up and defend Joe Biden. So far, no one's willing to step up. So I'm calling out to the Hamin media universe. If anyone's out there willing to defend Joe Biden in a debate, we will have it. We must have it. So
yeah, I don't think
somebody.
I think MSG could. I mean, you can't defend any of these assholes.
Well, true. That's true.
Of what's going down. And now with whatever it is with Hunter Biden, with meth pipe, crack pipe pictures, laptops that he dropped off, and
everybody's like, "Oh, let's I'm gonna see ya."
Let's see in a while, Bret, when the heat passes. So, dude, the fact that we're even having a presidential election and this is what's getting thrown around, that Hunter Biden may have gone to China and had sex with multiple and abusive sex with multiple underage girls so they could get it on camera to take payola kickbacks. Like, this is how crazy this story goes. I don't want to put over Alex Jones anymore as a, he's a disinformation artist, but you should go to InfoWars and check out some of the fucking headlines and stooge and what could happen this week. I mean, nobody should be president. None of them have the fucking what it takes to represent a true man in this world. I was even thinking, just while I'm out there in the woods and this shit's ripping around in my head, what if the next president made the decree, and it wasn't Trump or whatever, whoever's after him, no more 2 terms. I'm just trying to think how to solve problems. Because the second term with the incumbent, it's always going to get mudslinging and shit. And then what's best for America goes to fuck for the year before and the year after, where they're trying to impeach him and he's trying to fuck them over. That's just how it always is. Doesn't matter what transition of power. What about 1 term, 6 years? You can never run again, and then every year they have to put up 2 new people. That way you're getting rid of the back and forth in the game. The only thing you could really do on the way out as the president is endorse somebody from your party on the way in, and there's no big fucking snabbits of like, we got to win it again. If they did it for 6 years, that's all you get and whatnot. I think we could fucking eliminate a lot of the fucking wasted time and bullshit of business not getting done for those 2 years, and tack that on there. And then it's more of a real fair fight, because you're not trying to secede power over to the next person in your squad. They just have to, and you put for a third party in there. So now you've got the triple threat that is 33% across the board. And, we have a real option for somebody to come up and run their own campaign. Even I feel like that would be a big fix compared to what we got right now. I'm sure legal experts and whatnot could point out 50,000 holes in that, but that's just me in my mind spinning while I'm down on the ground looking for deer blood, picking up leaves.
Yeah, it certainly would be an improvement, and I agree. As long as it's a two-party political system, it's always with pitting good versus evil is always going to be the narrative, and that does not help society grow. And if anything, it divides it further. And I think the more we go down this rabbit hole of this two-party system, and this illusion of good versus evil, the further we're going to go down into disparity. And
yeah,
that's unfortunate, but it's true.
And I agree with Sonic the Hedgehog that Chase says you also need to make it so to be president, you can't be born before radio was invented. I think we're past that, but I get what you're saying. I agree. Nobody over 65 should be able to hold any office. It should be 35 to 65 term limits for those people in that age bracket because you're functional. It's before you retire. It's when you're in society owning a business or doing something and you're in touch with the family level, the professional level, the whatnot. When you get to 65, you're just a power addict who knows how to get kickbacks, get sucked off by the system, and fucking use your shit to make your family's wealth grow. And you don't give a flying fuck about the people who voted for you, the taxes you're taking from. So if there is a fucking coup d'etat and an overthrow of the system that we have, I would like to see that be implemented. No more two fucking gimmick. You can win the second one. Everybody gets one shot. Tack on the other 2 years that is usually wasted on bullshit so they can get their agenda done. And then it's an all new fucking playing field. You know what I mean? Every 6 years. So
yeah. Either I'd even be a fan of, instead of making it a solitary position, make it like a 3-person committee to where 3 people had to collaborate on the.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that either.
Versus a single person saying this is the right way, and then everyone else is like, okay, I guess we'll go along with it. Yep. You know what I mean? To where there's actually more conversation.
It's just a fucking carnival of fuckery where I'm going, are we really talking about corrupted kickbacks from Ukraine, China, this fucking guy's kid fucking underage Chinese girls and being abusive so they can have blackmail on him so he can get payola? And he's doing it on purpose to know that they'll have blackmail on him so he can show that he's their boy, and they'll give him millions of dollars for influence. I'm like, how are we even to this point? To me, that's Guantanamo Bay execution. Like you get all the way to there, and think about, Biden was VP for 8 years. Think about all the shit that his kid was getting away with during that time that we're not even talking about yet, dude. You know what I mean? Like, think how, they were even more young and dumb at the time and thought they could take over the world and just get kickbacks and not get caught. It's going to be a crazy fucking week this week of people laying down more and more shit. Where's Ghislaine Maxwell's evidence? Where's Anthony Weiner laptop stuff? Are they going to start really unloading the fucking big shots to take down the Bears here? I hope so, because there's no faith or hope in any of them. So let's crash them all, as far as I'm concerned.
Speaking of the Bears, number 1 in the NFC North.
I
had to put that over.
The Giants get their first win, barely squeaking it out. 2019 hard-fought victory over the Redskins. I did not bet either of those games because those were way too fucking scary, dude. So, but yeah, it was a fun NFL Sunday. Getting to watch and do some work. I talked to Goldilocks, talked to Deep, talked to Stevie Ray, worked with Russo, and that's where I'm just like, dude, how fucking awesome is this? I don't care if my toe hurts. I'm getting to do what I want to do right now, and that's just phenomenal. But what I don't want to do is read headlines, and that's what the fuck I gots to do, man, beast.
Gots to.
Jim Ross calls himself the original demo god and says Triple H didn't have his back in WWE. During the latest episode of the Grilling JR podcast, Jim Ross went back and watched Monday Night Raw from October 10th, 2005, where he was fired in the main event. The show ended with Ross being publicly humiliated by the McMahon family and fired by Linda McMahon. Ross talked about how he just did what he did when he was asked by Vince without any hesitation. He also talked about how he felt about some of the punishment he received on screen was more than just a storyline. It was personal. Said, quote, "My dad taught me a long time ago that when you work for a man, you earn your keep. You don't," Ross said, "you do what he's paying you to do, whether you like the gig or not. I didn't have a problem with doing what Vince wanted in large because I always did it. If I had a problem with it, I would have figured a way not to do it. That never happened one time in all those in-ring skits. My minute-by-minute ratings were excellent. Sometimes they were better than some of the boys working. People had an interest and emotional investment in JR. The trials and tribulations of poor JR getting run through the ringer again. I always just felt like at times it was personal. It was more than just creative. Ross continued on to mention how Vince had to have some motive behind firing JR and Raw and embarrassing him live on TV in the main event. He believed it was very personal, and Vince could get the excuse of it being just a storyline if it was asked about it being personal. He said, wrestlers have this thing where it's almost ribbing on the square. He said, they can treat you like shit creatively and just say, well, it was just for the show. It's part of the process and the presentation, and I always felt like it was the wrong motivation. This was one of those nights where I thought it was very personal. He wanted to send a message to me for whatever reason, and he did. I executed it. The coach called the plans, and I ran them. Ross also mentioned how his ratings were sky high during the segments he was involved with as an on-screen character. He said he was the original demo god, not Chris Jericho. What did he say about Triple H? JR was fired the night storyline. He talked about how upset he was that Triple H, who was just starting to begin working behind the scenes, didn't stick up for him. Ross said he never had issues with Triple Game until he was upset about how much he had done for him without the favor return. He said, quote, when he became an administrator, we didn't have a lot of successful negotiations. I was disappointed in that a bit because I always went to bat for him. I got him the contract he wanted, and that was important to him. To have the same $1 million downside guarantee that the other guys did, I think he just took Vince's lead. So nothing shocking here. One part that I do like that you could probably speak to is the rib, because I've done it, of you got heat behind camera, but you're not going to tell the guy that he's got it, even though he's put it on himself. And then that transitions into on-camera shit to get it over. I remember Rocky Styles, who not a lot of people will know, but ran his mouth to Timmy Baltimore, who's loved by everybody. You know what I mean?
And some really disparaging shit about Baltimore and his condition and everything. And it was, horrible.
And we just all looked at each other and said, okay.
Now this is happening.
Yeah, okay, now this is happening. So we would have him get squashed. We would have locker room leaders come out and throw his fucking bag out into the arena, or like go out into the arena and there's a side door and throw it outside just to, like, you know, Rocky Styles has heat in the locker room was the story, and Baltimore could tell it on the mic. But the reality is this kid fucking came in, thought he was way too over, said all the wrong shit. Go ahead.
I believe at one point did we actually have Baltimore get to slap him in the ring?
Yes,
I think we did. Yeah,
and then we had to have the fucking Fearless Jack Bull Malibu Invitation Part 2 drink off challenge, and he was a part of that just to get destroyed. That was kind of the final go home for that, and it was phenomenal. And Johnny Punch was great in it.
Johnny Punch took out 2 men at once. Drinking competition. More power to his liver.
That's right. I don't know who was in that first one, but I gotta fucking go back.
I don't know either. No.
Go back and look that up.
Idea.
What are you thinking on good old JR taking all that bullshit McMahon heat?
Yeah, I mean, it's just sad at this point in his career that, he has to look back on things like that, rather than, being treated more respectfully. And, I feel like when it comes to angles like that, that's where I feel like you really, when it comes to close personal issues, really, I mean, all that should be taking place behind closed doors, and something like that, I feel like should be like, are you okay with this? You know what I mean? Like, it's not like JR brought that on himself, unlike the situation we were just talking about with Rocky Styles. You know what I mean? And so that's where, it's more of just really a shame. I feel like something that's going to cut that deep should at least get clearance of, hey, if this is okay with you, we'd like to do this. I can certainly see as it being a way to put heat on a heel to, be treating someone like dog shit. But at the same time, you also have to take into consideration the real life situation of continuing to work with this person going forward. You know what I mean? And I don't think that was taken into consideration at all.
Yeah, I don't think so either. They just want to get ribs in, and they'll sacrifice TV time to do it. Cujo Pop says, he popped me, he says, all you need to know about life, you can learn in the gym. Classic Triple H line right there.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Let's keep going. I'll try again. MLW hires former WWE SmackDown head writer Looks like Alex Greenfield is going to be a producer as MLW. They've also hired Biff Lawson as a producer. Lawson worked on several A&E network shows like Live PD and Emergency Rescue. MLW recently announced Pero would be returning for the restart as they sign Bukudao. The promotion will be filming its reboot this weekend in Florida. Cool, man. Alex Greenfield, I talked to him a couple times. Seemed like a nice enough dude, to be honest with you, and had good correspondence with him. So I think that he worked with Court Bauer. So I'm sure, that's like the comfort level. If I was running something, I'd bring you in. Same type of fucking thing.
Right.
So that if you're see a pickup in MLW or creative or what have you, I haven't been able to really watch it, a match here or there. If we have some diehards watching it, let me know, in this first season, if you think they've improved and if they can move into a higher spot, man. They've been hanging in there, and I haven't heard anything bad from the boys about them politically. Rich Holiday's in there. A lot of guys who I think have tons of potential to be an MJF quality performer are working in MLW right now, dude.
Well, I'm gonna have to check it out. I'll be honest. I'm ashamed to admit, being in the bubble, so to speak, that I haven't had a chance to catch any of MLW yet. But it sounds like something I'm gonna have to at least take a gander at.
Yeah. If you have the gall to do it, I'll do it.
Oh shit.
More Natty news. Natty provides an update on Tyson Kidd's neck and her appreciation of WWE producers. Natty recently appeared on Table Talk with Devon, where she spoke about the status of Tyson Kidd's neck and his role as a producer. He suffered a career-ending injury in 2015 and hasn't wrestled since. However, Natty, what was that, Muscle Buster from Samoa Joe?
I think so.
Yeah. Natty did a recently shared video of him running the ropes, which gave a lot of people hope about him potentially returning to the ring. While Natty didn't discuss that, she gave an update of his neck. She said, good. It's really, really good. I probably worry about TJ's neck more than he does just because I'm very protective of him. And TJ's good. I mean, he's in a really, really good place. He absolutely loves being a WWE producer. Natty then wanted to talk about Tyson Kidd's role as a producer and how she has a new appreciation for them, seeing how hard TJ has to work. I've had a different appreciation for producers because TJ is a producer. He's been a producer for a few years. It's probably one of the hardest jobs, if not the hardest job in the company, because there's so many things that I see TJ has to do and balance. It's just a balancing act all day. So while we as the wrestlers, as the talent, we may be only focusing on one thing, our match, the producers have so many other things that are focusing on, and they're producing multiple matches dealing with multiple people. They're making sure, okay, we got this prop is there and this table's set up and everybody knows this. I mean, again, you think about Devon, Shawn Michaels, and Triple H. It's hard, though, because the producers literally got to see everything differently than they've ever seen it before. So it's a balancing act. I give producers so much credit because if we make mistakes in the ring, sometimes we don't get in trouble, but the producers will get, hey, how did that happen? Again, this is inside talk, but it's challenging, and I know TJ loves it. Whew. Brutal fucking Bob. You want to talk about prop placement? How about the fuck that we put TIG welding glasses on Randy Orton and say on camera that it's night vision, when the reality is when you put on welding goggles, it makes things way darker to protect your eyes. But you people at home are idiots. So guess what? These are night vision now. Who's going to take the heat for that prop? Why aren't they putting the heat on the workers if they're putting their matches together and they're doing all this dumb shit that doesn't mean anything? TJ Wilson's a phenomenal wrestler. I can't imagine ever him going, you know what? You're the baby face. You need to get heel heat on the heel, because that happens every fucking show. And whoever is allowing that, yeah, as a producer, the heat should be on them. But how does it happen week in and week out without somebody getting their fucking head chopped?
It comes from the top down, right? I mean, my only guess is it's not being addressed from those that are truly in charge.
It seems like they just want to have it that way so they can let them fuck up. So there's more fun backstage to put heat on the producers. They're just waiting to be like, who can we heat on this week? Instead of going, how can we eliminate these mistakes and make our show better? They'd rather wait in the darkness for the fuck up to lurch forward than get out in front of it and make sure there are no mistakes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, that I don't believe in. Mick Foley on going to bat for CM Punk and working with him if Punk will wrestle again. Foley spoke with Inside the Ropes where he talked about CM Punk and his experience with former WWE champions. I've known him since 2004. We had a nice little run in Ring of Honor. I remember driving with Samoa Joe and Rocky Romero to the show that night in Chicago where Punk and Joe went about an hour. Those were the two guys more than anybody that I went to bat for with Mr. McMahon. When Punk came in, I think what Punk had going for him, one of the things besides his talent and ability, the two guys who were really pitching for him were me and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I like to think that the two guys with polar opposite wrestling styles were like, you got to check this guy out. I think that Punk was part of the reason. I think that was part of the reason Punk got invited to OVW. Joe came aboard years later, but those guys made me look good. I wish I could say I saw the Daniel Bryan thing, but I didn't. I knew he was really good, but I didn't see him as a WWE guy. I was wrong, and I'm glad to admit I was wrong. I mean, good stuff from Foley. Man, I saw a picture of Mick, and all I can think of is that he must make boku fucking dollars during Christmas, bro, because he is dedicated to the craft of growing the beard out. He loves the Santa thing. But, dude, he fluctuates like 70 pounds, bro. I think he's probably – I would have to say he's put on to get ready for Christmas. And then – but I saw him in the spring, and he takes it all off.
Like a bear.
Yeah, he is. He is. Fat Foley week. Fat Bear week. Hashtag Fat Bear Week on Instagram. If you haven't looked it up, you guys, is one of my favorite trends. Just huge, big fat bears getting ready.
You notice from December 26th, really until the first thaw of the spring, you don't see Mick Foley. After Christmas is over, he goes and he lays down and he hibernates, and then he comes out in the spring all thin and ready to graze.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't know. I don't know, man. Like I like that he likes to do that and he can do what he wants, but putting that much weight on your joints when you've
it's no good.
With Mick Foley for anybody, but let alone do what Mick Foley has done, not good. I get you love the Christmas spirit and whatnot. Plus, at his age, when you put that weight on and take it off, dude, you're talking about serious pressure on your cholesterol and heart and all that kind of stuff, dude. Like, I don't know. He's established now as Santa Foley. I'd like to see him. And I battle the bulge constantly, dude, from what I was like 258.4 this morning. I've been up to 309 at my biggest. And dude, I feel like shit. I look like shit. My sciatic kills. I just feel greasy. And, I got another 18 to 20 to drop still. But dude, that scares me to see a guy that age when he fluctuates in weight that much every year. And I've seen it like the last 4 or 5 years.
Wow. Now that is rough. And I can say as someone that works with joints and patients that need them replaced all the time, that the amount of weight you carry on your frame is absolutely correlated with how much pressure and arthritis and pain is going to be put through those joints whenever you get up and down, whether you walk up and down steps. I mean, literally, just the act of sitting for an extended period and then standing up, it's like you're putting so much more wear and tear on the joints just by carrying more weight on you. So I hope for Mick's sake that, maybe he can find a better balance in this, perhaps maybe invest in some really good padding versus actually fattening up for the role.
Right. Let's work on that a little bit more and for his own health,
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I mean, Dewey's backstage and has had a job for, probably 5 years now, 6 years. New Day run, pretty much. He was the Pancake Kid, right? Doing all that shit. But they haven't signed Noelle, and she's the one who's hot and would be great on camera. I'm surprised they didn't. There's got to be some heat or something there that they didn't sign Noelle to do backstage interviewing. Why wouldn't you? She's as sexy as the rest of them, if not more so.
Really, I don't think I've seen a picture of her, so I don't know. But I mean, it is interesting though that they'd have her or have Mick Foley's son on the writing team, but not have any place for her unless they, really don't see a good spot for her right now, I guess.
Yeah, let me see. You never seen Noelle Foley?
I don't think so.
Oh, let me see here.
Haven't seen movies, haven't seen wrestlers.
Hot chicks. I mean, she's a looker, bro. I mean, her mom is super hot too. I mean, fully scored like me was way above his head, you know, like, dude, tell me they couldn't use her on WWE. Kidding me, bro?
Right. You'd think there'd be something to do for her, even if it's just interviewing.
So like, and she does all the Comic-Con stuff. Like,
so she's already in that, you know, being able to present to fans, you know what I mean? Being able to present yourself a certain way to the masses. Just having that down is already a step ahead of a lot of other people.
Yeah. I just don't know what the heat is there, because everything I've seen, she seems like a super sweet girl, and maybe that's it, because she's not a piece of shit that they want to. Another fat ass who needs to lose 20 pounds is in the chat room. Dancing Stevie Richards. So hopefully he's putting on his Sweat to the Oldies and Sean T hip hop abs this morning and getting it done. You guys go over to that Stevie Richards YouTube channel, get the morning inspirational show, and let's kick this week off right. Let's not break our toes, and let's shoot some doughs. How about that?
Heck yeah.
But Stevie doing big things, man. We are proud of you, bro. And I'm not sure if he'll be on the Friday locker room this week. I want to say shout out to Strangler Steve, who filled in last minute, and just an awesome show. I always love talking to the Steves I know. Thankful to have them both in my life, and veteran voices, man, with great opinions that educate me every time I talk to either of them. So I don't know if Stevie Richards will be back, but if not, hopefully Strangler Steve King will be here for your Friday veteran locker room, as well as on the Wednesday locker room, you guys, with the Andrew Bello and El Sexico, the sex god himself, Billy Ray Valentine.
Heck yeah.
Oh,
his name is Stevie Richards, and he has a conditioning and training program.
Oh,
that's phenomenal.
That's it. I don't want to stooge off what Stevie looks like now, but he's got a goatee, and it's funny. Shane Helms provides an update of his WWE contract. Shane Helms recently spoke with probably Hausman over there at Wrestling Inc., and where he discussed his current contract with WWE and his status with the company. While WWE has been bringing back those who were furloughed during the year earlier in the stage of COVID-19, Helms has confirmed that he's not yet been one of those people who says, yeah, I guess it's a furloughing until I go back. To me, it's the same thing as being released if I go back or whatever, April 15th, tax day, of course. Always sucks, but it wasn't anything that was unexpected for me. Anyway, it kind of made sense since I was sitting at home doing nothing, but I've been podcasting for a long time, dating all the way back to 2010. I was just having this discussion with a friend of mine. I was live streaming back in 2010. Helms also spoke about his interactions with Vince McMahon over his lifetime, both as an in-ring talent as producer for the company. He said, my interactions are very similar, but just what he expects from a producer is different from talent. Helms noted that was a different, unique challenge for me, because as a talent, he wants you to go in there, be bold, and tell them, hey, this sucks and all of that. And as a producer, not so much. As a producer, he wants, okay, yes, sir, I'll go try and make this shit happen. I'm still the guy that goes, this sucks. That may be why my ass got furloughed too. Shout out to Shane Helms, because everybody needs to be going, this fucking sucks. About 70 to 80% of WWE content shows and the way they're wrestling. It don't matter if it's Lana through tables, Shotzi Blackheart fucking doing reverse spike pile drivers on the apron, killing each other, or whatever other bullshit that you want to get out there and write. Or one of these promos.
Ding dong.
Just how's this shit even making it to TV? Absolutely brutal. But they are going back to the sexualization, dude. If you watch SmackDown, when they brought out Sasha Banks in a full bodysuit where she might as well have been Slim Goodbody or be naked, like no one gives a fuck about the blueprint or the women's revolution anymore. It's about tight asses, thigh shots on Mandy Rose, Stephanie's huge gimmicks out during the draft. And I got no problem with wrestling going back to testosterone, 18 to 49 male demographic, and let's shelve all this PG bullshit, dude. So hopefully we can swing the pendulum back to where the real men reside.
Yeah. And I'll say Shane Helms is definitely not one to sugarcoat his opinion. It's something I could say I definitely appreciate about him. I remember getting booked, I think back when I did the CM Punk head shaving thing as an extra about 10 years ago, just watching the show in the back, and something something not good had happened, like it wasn't the best segment. And I looked over at Hurricane Helms in full gimmick, and he just shook his head and just like, well, that was bad.
Yeah.
And
dude.
then the band continued. Oh, go ahead.
Helms is one of the boys through and through. It don't matter if it's fucking rotten. And that's a guy who started in 3 count and made his way all the way to making some of the best moments with The Rock in history. You know, we've said it 1,000 times. Character means everything. Even the way he enters and would exit a scene like he's taking off flying and they add the little whoosh in there. Just great stuff. The stuff he did with Jamal and Rosie, or, you know, shit, right? Superhero in Training. Before, you know, like they're going to give you, that was probably a rib on Rosie, right? And then, you know, we're going to take this and make fucking gold out of it. You want to give us shit, I will fucking turn it into diamonds for you. But there's some things that you just fucking absolutely can't. It's just going to stay shit when you write it that way. So, and those kids don't know how to do what he can do. Being a veteran performer, coming through the indies, seeing it all, being able to survive in a WCW locker room as opposed to this NXT shirt property wearing Triple H posing while he points at you fucking squad of performers that think they're fucking old school veterans who've never really even worked a territory in their life.
And I'll tell you, Shane is one who is good at paying attention to the little details, and that's important. For a quick funny story, we worked with them at a OVW house show about a year ago, right before, maybe 2 years ago. It was right before he got signed again with WWE. But anyway, so he made it a point to tell the person doing the music, because I guess this is something that happened before. He's like, if you're going to find my song online on YouTube, the Hurricane song, that's fine. Just make sure when you're connecting it, you have the phone on mute so the audience doesn't hear the bloop as it you know, connects to the phone or whatever. Mm-hmm. So we heard, you know, him tell that. I was like, okay, that's a nice little detail. Well, we're getting ready to go out there teaming up with the Hurricane, getting ready for our music, and all of a sudden we just hear bloop, and back. So we just looked over at Shane, and he just put his head down for a second. You just saw the disappointment. And then he just jumped right back into it and went out to the curtain. And it's like, oh, well, that little moment of like, it happened again.
And I enjoyed his work, even when he'd be on camera at Impact as an agent, wearing the green jacket and whatnot, going out and helping getting Caleb Connolly over. Probably helped get what's his name in NXT, Caveman now. He wears the fucking carny hat. He's like a Southern.
Cameron Grimes.
You know, he helped a lot of those guys get over and on camera from their North Carolina territories in Impact, and then he, you know, takes the job at WWE and whatnot. And but he's had a lot of impact on younger wrestlers and being able to open the doors for him. But he absolutely is that guy who's just a worker's worker. A character guy, a dude who can do amazing things athletically as well, but doesn't need to, and can stay over 20 years later with a "what's up with that" catchphrase and rib The Rock, and The Rock will put him over like it's yesterday. You know what I mean? So I think a dude I've never heard nobody say nothing bad about Shane Helms ever in my life, and every interaction I've seen or had with him has been nothing but like, this guy is a worker's worker.
He's a pro.
Yep. 100%. And, you know, I think AEW would benefit from having him on camera, to be honest with you, as a personality, or an MLW could as well. Impact, they're doing good things right now. I don't see that they have a need for him. Not that he wouldn't help their product, but I think his genius could definitely do so. I could see something all new with him and Matt together outside of what they've done. Just let them be themselves, Shane and Matt.
I will say, although if they were to do some kind of story arc with Eric Young and play it up like, come on, you used to be Super Eric, you were the good guy, and then, you know, just keep convincing them that he needs to go back to Super Eric, then eventually the cameo with Hurricane would be good. or story. So, I mean, there could be a place if the card's played right. So,
True. That's true. I had forgotten about that. So, yeah.
the battle of the Super Friends. You know what I mean?
Yes. Well, then you bring in Dave Hero as well to get the Super Friends over because he's
yeah.
tight. He's super tight with them. You know what I mean? I know he is with Helms.
But I think, that be fair, I feel like Eric Young, the part he's playing right now, needs to stay that way for a while. But when he starts to want to show some cracks through the armor of being a maniac, then something like that could come about. Yeah,
I could see Helms helping Cal Hero out, but I don't want to help Cal Hero out. I just want to destroy Cal Hero. Wow, this one popped me the other day when I saw this, and I was like, I can't wait to read this. This is headline. It makes me laugh. Bret Hart rates Goldberg's in-ring work rate 0 out of 10. The Hitman spoke on the Confessions of a Hitman web series about Goldberg, claiming he was like a gorilla in the ring who hadn't been taught how to work. Sorry, I got dog hair in my eye. Goldberg was a gorilla, Hart recalled. He was a guy that nobody seemed to have taught how wrestling really works. He seemed to think he could just pick up a guy and slam him through the mat as hard as you could, and that was good wrestling. But I always liked Bill as a person. His wrestling, his work rate was 0 out of 10. Like everything he did hurt. Everything. He could tie up with you and hurt you. He'd tie up with himself and he'd hurt himself. Bill was one of those types of guys that I don't think ever stood that it's supposed to look like it hurt, but it's not supposed to really hurt. And he had so many people praising him because he'd run you over like a car, like he'd football tackle you with no pads on. He's all jacked up and roided up. He's about 280 pounds. You might as well have have a real car drive over the top of you. He'd line up and just run you down, knock you down, and hurt guys. I asked, how does he do that without hurting everybody? And everybody he worked would come back to the ring holding their ribs. Guys would have tears in their eyes from how much pain they were in. And he was really reckless and dangerous guy to wrestle. Our own Stevie Richards will back that up in the chat room probably, as he took a lot of shoot shots to get Goldberg over. Obviously, what he did with that shit box kick, ruining Bret, the rest of Bret's career. Kicking him straight in the fucking face with a teep. And then even this week on SmackDown, where he teases that he's going to fucking possibly be a surprise on SmackDown via social media tease. What was it? He's watching the main event on a screen in Thunderdome. What a jerk me off fucking letdown that was, bro. It was so bad.
Oh, will you fucking stop?
Oh, yeah, dude. So it was just like, what are we doing? And even Bree and Birdie were in the Thunderdome, and they're ribbing on that and saying Thunderdome because they know Vince loves that fucking shit. Yeah, dude. Who gives a fuck if Goldberg's coming back to WWE to be a part of the main event? Only to do what? Have a 20% chance of having a decent match, because really 8 out of 10 in WWE are absolute shit fest when he has to go longer than 90 seconds, bro. And chances are he's going to hurt somebody.
Right, and that's the difficult part, is the few people that could have a good match with Goldberg and actually make it good are smaller guys, and much more likely to really get hurt facing Goldberg than a bigger guy who can take the punishment. And Stevie Richards, oh my God, he probably had a residual pain just pop up out of nowhere, like
oh fuck, I forgot about that's why
I felt that again. But you know what I mean? Like, then the few guys that wouldn't be getting hurt, I don't think could bring Goldberg to that quality of match that we would want to see out of it, because it's going to be a difficult one to pull out anyway.
Absolutely. And just guys looking disheveled afterwards, where they know it was a shitter, whether it's Saudi Arabia or WrestleMania. Why do we keep pulling the trigger on this fucking dude? And even then, where he comes back and he's like, kind of like, fuck wrestling, I just did this so I could show my kids me and my glory. Like, that's the only reason he did it. Well, then fuck you too. Like, if you're not going to put in 110% into this shit, that means you're taking a massive paycheck, a massive spot from somebody else, and you're screwing over the audience because you're not going to be there for very long. We know your match is going to probably be trash, but we got to put it over because of 22 years ago of a legacy of you working stiff, and somebody just put you on the push for 174-0. We still got to live through that? No way, Briz. No way. If anything, somebody should shut him down. It should be a Brock Braun scenario. Let Goldberg go in there and get stiff with Brock and let him punch him in the fucking face 4 or 5 times. Then we'll see what the fuck happens.
That would be entertaining to see.
I would love it. I don't got no heat with Goldberg, except, well, I do. Bret Hart was my favorite wrestler, and he ended his career because he's a fucking sloppy and stupid. And then, now Stevie's one of my best friends, and he hurt him too. So there's some heat there, I guess. Whatever. Come in and do that on me. I'll fucking stick my finger 4 inches into your eye.
There you go.
Nick Jackson of the Young Bucks believes Kenny Omega is a star to watch in the next year. AEW's Nick Jackson has backed his fellow elite member Kenny Omega to be a person that everybody should be watching in the next year. I think that year 2 is going to be all about Kenny Omega. He's been very, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess unselfish, and he's ready to explode. So I would keep and you can actually check that out in this week's Being the Elite, where afterwards he tells a guy to suck him off. So maybe that's what he's talking about. So I would keep my eye on him. Another one of my top off my head would be Darby Allin. He's got so much potential to be a massive star for the AEW. If AEW uses him the right way, he's definitely going to be a top player. Yeah, dude, they should have made Omega the top guy out of the gate instead of him being a VP and controlling the women's division, so they can just go do Japanese wrong style and act like it's going to be different. Meanwhile, the matches are just trash all year one. I mean, almost I would say 90% of the women's matches were trash, and we wanted Omega to be a breakout star, a new Shawn Michaels, a new what have you, and instead we get him marginalized, put in tag teams, alcohol with the fucking cowboy gimmick back and forth. We really don't get anything. A couple nice V-trigger lariat finishes, but this isn't the guy that's the star that making people change the channel and doing Japan style to be the feature that way. Can he do that? Absolutely. But he should be the guy to do that, not everybody else. It should be on him. And I understand they had the meeting of, well, we can't make him champ because it'll look like we're putting him over and putting ourselves over as VPs. Yeah, guess what? That's what you needed to do. AEW is built off of being the elite, the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. Everybody else sycophanted onto it, whether it's Cody, fucking Hangman Page, best friends and whatnot. That's how it all came together. But originally, 2CW era, it was Bucks and Omega. And I got the picks to fucking prove it. But, them laying out hurt their company, in my opinion, more than it did making them stars. Now they're going to be like, all right, we made the mistake. It's year 1 birthing pains. We got to get Kenny back over. But Kenny needs to start caring. When he came out to commentary 3-4 weeks ago, just sit and while they're still trying to go with this Hangman thing, and he's wearing white shorts and a white shirt. And like, just looks like he doesn't give a shit at all. I'm going, dude, this is the time of COVID and nobody's in the arena. You think you might want to get some merch sales going by wearing your own merch and go to AEW.com, because they're not buying them out in the arena right now, where you would usually be making 20 grand, maybe a week on shirts. It just shows to me like a lack of effort and maybe burnout already. I hope they can revitalize him and make him into the star draw that company really needs him to be, a crown jewel performer, more than they need him to fucking be the head of the women's division agenting shit. Fucking here's 2 guys right here that can take that job and fucking run with it all day long, while he goes out and fucking earns the millions that Khan needs him to do. Splitting the focus, and you've said this 100 times, is absolutely wrong. And actually, I'll put over from the Friday locker room, Kaz or Plaja, I can't remember who put it out, maybe even MSG, our put over of Aaron the Idol Stevens getting the gig, and hopefully staying behind the camera would be better, because splitting the focus is going to do it.
Yeah, there's Kaz. Kaz to put that out.
Idol responded and put it over because he loves Strangler, and he tolerates me, I guess. And and says, I totally am taking that advice, and how do you fuckers know each other? And I was like, oh, I was gonna make a free
what area does Strangler work around in? Because I've never ran into the Strangler myself.
He's been a Boston guy his whole life.
Okay, that's right. And I haven't been up in the Northeast too much.
He trained under Kowalski.
Okay. So yeah, that's how him and Idol know each other then.
And Triple H in China, China's first 5 matches were with Steve. So and Steve, worked WWE late 80s, early 90s as enhancement talent for Jeff Jarrett, Yokozuna, I think Adam Bomb, maybe too, a bunch of, top big guys who needed to get over at the time, and then worked all the Northeast Indies as well. So he saw Idol day one. So it's a small circle is what he put. He goes, it's a small world in the wrestling world. And I don't think Idol knew that after he was in WWE doing the Damian Sandow stuff, I'm at 2CW, and Strangler and I are becoming great friends, and so happy to have the relationship that we have now to keep working together creatively.
Absolutely. But to go back to that point, you're absolutely right. You have to have one sole focus, because as soon as you start splitting focus, then the quality of your work and everything starts to diminish at least a little bit, and sometimes significantly. But if you're able to put all your focus either on performing or on booking or on whatever it is that is your role in the company and the show, then that's what's going to allow you to thrive. And so hopefully he'll renew his focus just on the performing and the wrestling aspect of it, and be the star that I think a lot of people know he can be.
I agree. Double A with the bits. A. Andrezen this morning. Appreciate that, brother. Keeping the platform free for everybody. Everybody who's bought a subscription at twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman. And somebody told me I need to go in and turn on super cheering in my YouTube. So I'm going to do that today. What does 2CW stand for? Squared Circle Wrestling. Squared Circle Wrestling. The two, we'd actually have CW with squared over it, but 2CW, kind of the also double, meaning the second rebirth of ECW, because we were all such huge fans of Vince's product and ECW coming up. Josh and I, and Steve as well, and Jack Trades, all part of the brain trust there. And what it really was, it wasn't the second coming of ECW. It was the second coming of ECW fandom. No other federation has ever had fans like ECW except for 2CW. Rabid. You feed them the right way, they're so loyal. It's almost scary, like how the control you can have over them, because they want to go along for the ride and get that intensity out. The corridor between New York City and Buffalo is filled with the most psychotic wrestling fans on the planet. The Chicago doesn't compare, Japan doesn't compare, maybe Toronto, but they don't get the same type of style. And Philly as well. I got to put over Philly, obviously, but that's what 2CW did, was feed those psycho fans. And who was the grandfather of 2CW who kind of anointed it? Spike Dudley. And that's what gave it the credibility out of the gate. That's where you get Brody from. That's why the Bucks are cool. Ring of Honor and New Japan never used the Bucks to the level that the indies of 2CW did to make them as cool as they absolutely were, and to really foster that being the elite. So Kevin Steen, Eddie Edwards, dream matches where you got me and Hacksaw, you got Eddie and Terry Funk, or, just all kinds of shit going on, man, at 2CW. And people wanted to come back, but I'm never going to allow that to happen.
They say it's going to, just a couple months away, right?
Yeah, that'll be a big rib. Rey Mysterio, you might have heard of him, provides an update on his injury. I'm at 99%. Rey Mysterio was the most recent Talking Smack guest where he provided an update. He says, "There's no reason I won't be back in the ring soon. I was a bit concerned in the beginning since the procedure post-surgery was slow and it took time for me to recuperate, but I'm already at 99%, so I'm looking for bigger things to come." I'm sure that'll be a twist in the Murphy daughter storyline that way, as we saw this week. Murphy run in a brutal scene of where they thought they were doing show don't tell when it was Mysterio's versus fucking Seth again. And then you're going to run in, Murphy, and you'll be in the middle, and you'll look left, and you'll look right, and you'll look left again. Who's he going to choose? I don't know who he's going to choose. Oh, he's going to choose the Mysterios, because he's going to beat the shit out of Seth, and then he beats him down, and then you're going to go over there, and you're going to ask for his hand like a man. And that means, can I fuck your 19-year-old daughter? Shake my hand. And then, Ray, you think about it. You think about it hard, Ray. But you don't shake his hand because you don't want him to fuck your 19-year-old daughter. Like, that's pretty much what the scene came down to right there.
That's good. That was some good acting notes there.
Thank you. Yes, 2CW is where I did Piper's Pit. More dream booking. Piper. Here's how wonderful 2CW is for me. Piper, Duggan, Hogan, and I helped make Dick Justice off of the storylines that I got to create and tie it into all three of those guys and bring the Insurgency in to do something with Slaughter out of the gate on my first appearance and Duggan. Like, what more as an indie guy can you fucking ever ask for to cement your legacy when they owed me nothing, but it was based on my performance and dedication? I'll forever sing the praises and also shit on and tear down 2CW. So yeah, dude, that's and that's why guys like Kevin Steen are loyal to Josh to the end, because when was Steen going to get the chance to be in the ring with Terry Funk? Never. Josh makes it happen. Steve makes it happen. And you could say that about a bunch of different guys. Everybody who's a local guy got to have their shine working with a major name star to make those local guys legit in the eyes of the 2CW audience. And the 2CW audience bites on it, supports it, and realizes what's going on. They're all smart fans. They're all super smarts. And if you can fucking draw them in and twist them and get an emotion out of them, they love you even more. And even if it's heat, they're going to give you more heat because they know that they just got by your intelligence as a performer. That's what they're looking for more than anything. So the more we can set up angles, who else has ever kidnapped Jessica Havoc? Nobody. Me. You know, like there's just a magic that can happen there that never happened anyplace else except for ECW. Those moments of, oh my God, he's fucking here. You know what I mean? That's how it is. Colin Delaney and Cheech got to work the Young Bucks. They got to work Kaz and fucking Chris Daniels, just like, and show that, you know, and we've seen him on AEW Dark once or twice, that Cheech and Colin Delaney are as good as the Young Bucks. They're as good as fucking SCU, and they might even be better because they're not as bumped out as much as those guys are, and their innovative and clean offense fits right into that stuff. So it was about showing Kenny Omega and the Bucks, hey, here's two guys that you can do. And oh, why don't we throw AR Fox in the mix to do some crazy shit? And oh, we'll throw Jay Freddy and Sean Carr, who could easily be signed anywhere on the planet and work anybody as well. We had our own guys that were just as good as all of those guys that the indies were looking at. And then you put them in there with Carr, Freddy, and Pepper Parks, and they're still indie properties. That's how they elevate people. That's how you do real good business on the indies, not just a spot show where somebody's going to get 20 minutes in and it don't mean fuck all. So, all right. You can't kidnap wrestlers. Bullshit. I kidnapped Serena and I kidnapped fucking Havoc. I've had Fang kidnapped. Kidnapping is awful.
Love kidnapping people.
You fuck can't get enough of it.
Remember when Rob Conway kidnapped all your guys?
He did. I mean, even Conway can kidnap. So fucking kidnapping is highly underrated. Anything on that, Beast? How was your time at 2CW? Good.
I've never been to 2CW.
That's good, man. Lillian Garcia teases big announcement for Monday. I know she may be coming back, or I think she's maybe having her own podcast, but says so excited for a big announcement on Monday. Maybe she'd be announced for an appearance on The Bump. Man, this woman is beautiful. Even her headshot, she just looks like a pro. Stevie was telling me, I mean, she is a pro. Her voice is incredible. Your wife obviously has been OVW Women's Champ, but she did a great job announcing. I think Brittany is right up there with a Lillian Garcia in having a woman announcer where we've been used to Howard Finkel and, you know, the old tropes. Lillian Garcia, I never had a problem with being like, oh, dude, they're just giving it to a girl. She really took it to a super professional level. The singing was great. And Stevie even put over on a Friday locker room that she would take her wedding ring off because she was going to do meet and greets with fans at Access who are Team Never Touched a Titty, but they love that fantasy of being close to a star. Well, if she's got her wedding ring on, that takes away from the sexuality and the fantasy of them being able to get a girl like Lillian Garcia. So it's even those small attention to detail to protect the fantasy that she's creating for the fans who are buying the ticket, that I love that level of commitment and endearment to phony wrestling, because we're getting paid to fucking create these fantasies. And that shows me she's a high level worker, as opposed to whatever the fuck is going on every other place where people kill their own business.
Yeah. Again, another example of a professional, a word that seems to be less and less relevant in the world of professional wrestling, which is really a shame.
Okay, cool. Sorry. I just got something from Russo. And I don't know if she comes back. I think that's a good host by all means. I don't know what you're really going to get out of her money wise, but if she's going to get her own show, you've got a veteran performer who's going to show up and do it as professional as possible. So we'll see what the big announcement is today for Lillian Garcia. Maybe she's pregnant. Maybe she's having a kid. Who knows? Becky Lynch is having a kid, and she was reportedly backstage at SmackDown. Yeah, ringside or Thunderdome. The report was confirmed by multiple sources, although it's unclear what the reasoning behind her visit was. Of course, Lynch is in a relationship with Seth Rollins, who recently joined the Blue brand, and it's very likely she was simply visiting with him to see people. It's also been noted by Meltzer Seltzer on the most recent Observer that Lynch could potentially be back as early as WrestleMania, although that remains just a rumor at this point. I doubt that. She's probably going to want a time to do snapback body. Not that she's a big girl or anything like that, but with a newborn, you really want to kind of focus on that for the first year. Absolutely. So I wouldn't, unless the money's ridiculous, you know what I mean? Or what have you, or maybe she'd just be back for a wave and be at ringside and something that Seth's doing. That'd be fine.
Or maybe she'll be on the newest edition of Total Bellas, and she'll bring her baby to their baby party.
That could be it. Wedding ring off. Pregnant, isn't she like 50? Well, we'll see. Paul Heyman says he won't talk about his time at Raw as WWE executive director. Okay, well, that's an interesting story.
Not going to talk about it.
He finished saying, but I won't discuss anything as I did as executive director, whether it's something worthy of praise or criticism, because I will respect the responsibility that I had to keep everything that I did as an executive director secret or that's confidential, whether that's in the face of criticism or praise that has been bestowed upon me. So he's got an NDA that he can't talk about creative afterwards to the sheets, because they know he fucking leaks to Mike Johnson at PW Hustle. This is what I'm translating all this shit to me, because they know he will do it for extra money to get himself over. And we already saw that maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago in the headlines, if you guys remember, where he was talking about it a little bit. And then even last week, he put over, that he said he only wanted the job if Vince McMahon could sleep at night knowing Paul Heyman was running Raw. Well, he got up one day and must not have felt that way, because I got future endeavored. like these big roundabout fucking dramatic answers. And now I bet after those early stooge offs and this, it was a stooge off saying that I'm never going to talk about creative because Vince would be fucking too hot, because the creative is broken. The creative is garbage. They are rewriting the show. What he doesn't want to get out is that Heyman would go to the sheets and go, we had a good show last week written, but the whole thing got thrown out on a Monday at 11 a.m. and we were rewriting the show till 4, going live at 8, and the final segment still wasn't done. That is truly the way they've been doing business the last 2 years. And you see it. You see it in the numbers. Their product is dog shit. They've finally started to pull it out a little bit on SmackDown. But even things like Retribution or Raw Underground, already dead in the water. Dead. Fucking because of COVID, because of whatever, the terrible creative. They've been off TV this is going into week 5. So what do we give a shit? Everything has to be restarted again completely. Oh, shit. Dogs of War got to go out and take a leak. I hear you, buddy. I hear you. Man Beast, can you vamp for a minute on
Yes.
All right, he's screaming at me.
You gotta let the Dogs of War out.
Got it.
It is interesting to see how much they're trying to stop and restart things. I'll say I haven't been watching regularly, but I have heard, I guess they have stopped with both the Retribution and Underground storylines as far as not featuring them on TV. So it will be interesting to see where they go with that. Let's take it to the chat room while Ben's away with the Dogs of War. Let's see what's going on in here. Looks like we have Strangers Alley. Rhonda is training right now. Oh boy. Well, she's going to be ready. Ronda Rousey here to do something, to point at the WrestleMania sign and do things in the ring probably. Now that he's not here, let's plan a party for him. Okay, let's plan a party for Ben. I don't know. I'm not very good at that. As you can tell by how long it took me to release a bourbon podcast, trying to plan something is not exactly in my wheelhouse as far as being the strongest things to do. Frank's Pickle Barrel ass says, yeah, I was never into her UFC stuff, but she looked pretty good in the ring. I mean, but she was a legitimate fighter that's trained and booked the right way. I do think she was an asset to the company. I just think someone like her, you want to help bring in to bring up the rest of your roster. And it's hard to do that considering her strong background. Let's kidnap him. Yes. How can we kidnap Ben Hamin? He's a big bastard though. So I'm going to need some help. It's a gender reveal party. Shout out Man Beast. That's my cheap shill. Dr. Ted, what did you prescribe to land that wife? It was the jokes. It was the humor. It had to be the low hanging fruit. That is my proverbial dad jokes. I'd say, bro, I got a physical therapy question. What's a good way to reach you? That is a good question. bookthedoctor@gmail.com. I send all my private clients through there. So if you do have any physical therapy issues or, just want a consultation, I usually will see people for consultations for free. And if it's determined that we can solve your problem, then we can talk into, putting together some kind of plan and actually working together. John Carnage says, couldn't they have used Retribution like a one-off group to get in, break shit, and then get erased like in a comic book, sort of like we did with Punisher and Spider-Man? I don't know. I'll have to look that up because I'm not really sure what that is. Purple was sexy. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. The right thigh is 3.5 inches less than my left. Oh, wow. Yeah, it sounds like some kind of muscular atrophy issue. Little man with the bow tie. Come on.
Who dares interrupt the poop time of Obazo Ben Chompin?
Oh, shit.
None of you infidels. I will shit all over you. Yalla!
They're just BSing in the chat room.
Oh, the original right here. Obazo Ben Chompin. Oh. What's up, pal? Did his big shit ski, and now he's ready to go. Yalla, Dogs of War. Sometimes you gotta take care of them.
Have to, must.
Got to, man. Otherwise, they'll just keep crying all fucking day.
Or eventually they'll just piss on the floor, and that's no good.
Yeah. He's like, I don't gotta piss, Dad. I gotta drop the bomb out here. So he did. Yeah, dude, this one kind of upset me a little bit. And it's fucked up. You can go to her Taya Valkyrie's story on Instagram and see it, but Taya Valkyrie suffers nasty looking burns from an influencer package. Impact Wrestling star Taya Valkyrie recently sustained some nasty looking burns. The former Knockouts champion posted on Twitter earlier this week with the initial damage to be not too severe, but more recent updates on her IG show blistering and discoloration across both of her hands. The burns were a result of a candle sent to her as part of an influencer package by a company called Lily's Sweets. Taya claimed the flame burned like a torch when lit, and she suffered the burns while trying to put it out after it had done damage to her home. Warning, was sent an influencer package by @Lily Sweets. I love their chocolate. Today I lit a candle they sent me. It burned like a torch, charred our window and wall, and I just suffered 2nd-degree burns on both hands and on my face trying to put it out. Unfucking real. Taya's husband, fellow pro wrestler and WWE superstar John Morrison, also took to Twitter warning people against the company in question, claiming the candle burns like a tiki torch. And you can check out her hand. She did you know, I've had some bad second degrees in my life, and on the inside of her, both of her hands, right by her thumbs and tops, some serious blistering. Doesn't really show her face.
And I'll tell you, the web space of your thumb is horrible because as that scar tissue starts to develop after the burn, even just to be able to separate your thumb from your hand to be able to grasp things is incredibly painful. It's devastating.
Dude, it's an influencer thing. If she didn't sign anything, I would, for her, man, for sue. You want to talk about a legit lawsuit, not Joey Ryan style? Boom. But I would say stay away from Lily Sweet's salted caramel candle and maybe other candles as well, because they may not be constructed the right way. Taya Valkyrie, one of the most voluptuous and sexy women in wrestling. I doubt that her face was hurt too badly, and thankfully enough, but a burn is never fucking a good time, man. Absolutely not. And you want to be an influencer? Well, there's influence. You want a fucking honest product review? Here's my second degree burns, and definitely not the celebrity endorsement you were hoping for. So, but a true one at that, but a scary scenario. And if you ever had a candle go up and like start burning a wall, I've had that happen once in an old college apartment. And we're like, holy fuck, like how quick that shit can happen is so frightening. So scary, and the power of fire is one that people take for granted, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. So today, check your fire alarms. This message has been brought to you by the Hamin Media Group. Dude, for real, check your fire alarms. If you haven't in a while, you never know. It just takes one bad incident to have your whole house go up in flames.
Dude, a shout out to our own Jargo. His sister lost everything a couple years ago, right? And same thing. So. Really, really brutal. Stevie says his new battle box has a fire extinguisher, so he's ready to go. But there's also knives in there. Knives are sharp as well, and we don't want to see anybody getting hurt. But you got to be, smart with this stuff. We take all these little things for granted sometimes, and until they sting you and teach you a little respect. Did I ever tell you about my bad burn story when I was a little guy?
I don't think so. No.
I might have never even told this ever on the air. So Monday Locker Room exclusive. When my dad was doing lumberjack, pro shows when I was real little, we would go all over the Northeast all summer long. That's all we do is hop in the camper and go. This is even before Hoop was born. So this, it goes back. We were at a campsite in Forceport, and we were packing up to go home. So I was 5 years old, and I don't know if they had them when you were a kid, but they used to have these plastic guns with like a spring on them. And you put a plane on it, and then you shoot it, and the plane would go fucking flying.
Yeah.
So I had one of those and shot it, and it got caught in a branch like maybe 12 feet off the ground. So I went and got a big ass stick, and I was trying to fucking do it. And I'm 5 years old, and my parents are packing up the camper and whatnot. So in the campsite, they have fire pits where they put like an old 50-gallon drum in the ground, like half of it, and just like maybe 2 or 3 inches of the lip sticks up over out of the ground. So the night before, we had, a rip roaring blaze in there, and it's all white hot ashes in there, and underneath are still some red ashes and coals and shit like that.
Oh no. So
I'm walking backwards with the fucking stick, dude. My heels catch the fucking tip of that thing sticking out of the ground. Nesty plunge right backwards into the fucking hot coal, like hot ashes and whatnot. I can feel myself, so I put my hand down to catch myself. My whole hand goes underneath the fucking ashes, and burning my ass goes down into it. They said they could hear me scream across the entire campsite. My dad, in like 2 steps, fucking comes, grabs me by the chest. I remember the feeling. Picked me up like fucking Kane choke slam style by my shirt, flips open the fucking cooler because all the food was gone pretty much, but there's just all the cold water in there, slams me into the fucking cooler, like putting me out instantly. He throws me into the fucking into the car, and we're off to the races to get to the fucking hospital. My whole hand was like a white glove, like they were just peeling layers of skin off of it because of second-degree burns, and then they were just cutting layers of skin off my ass. Like 5 years old, that was a bad feeling. So anytime we're camping and shit now, or out, in the mountains of Tora Bora, and any of the kids are running around the fire, dude, I always am sketched. I'm like, don't play near the fire. Because it's so fun. It's warm. It's cool to poke and da-da-da. But when you get fucking burned, that's something that stays with you until the end of time, bro. Not that I feel it now in my hands or anything along those lines, but like I can flash back to that 5-year-old and that pain and that fear. Just seeing my old man come at me, give me the fucking gimmick that way was crazy. So
that would scar you for life. That's something like that. That's it.
As Stevie would say, hot water burn baby.
Hot water burn baby.
Yeah, dude. I got that was a bad one. I don't think I ever told that. But hopefully Taya bounces back, just a little A&D ointment, and I think she'll be okay for sure.
Absolutely.
New details and our final story. Are you ready, Man Beast? Anything else you want to add to that?
Is it already time for the final story?
Yeah, it's an hour.
All right, fine. That's fine.
Our final story, new details on Lars Sullivan's WWE return and why recovery took so long. From Fightful.com, originally published, Sullivan arrived on Raw Monday, April 2019, and original plans debut 3 months just prior unexpectedly fell apart due to a severe anxiety attack. Just 2 months later, he sustained a knee injury during a match with Lucha House Party. I'm going to possibly suggest that this anxiety attack was from the fact that he knew he had a cock-sucking tape coming out that he tried to kayfabe, and he knew that was going to drop, and that would cause him enough anxiety, not just the fact that he's got to go through the curtain and whatnot. It was originally reported that the Freak would require surgery and be out of action for 6 to 9 months.
69.
Thank you. On standard time frame, instead, he did not return for 16 months, attacking Matt Riddle, Jeff Hardy, The Miz, and Morrison last week on Friday Night SmackDown. Fighter reports that Sullivan was originally expected back somewhere around June 2020, but recovery was described as being an uphill battle. Sources noted he had to have both knees repaired, which is what increased his return time. A total work story, embarrassment for everything that he's done online, and then also the sex tape leaking. You can't build a monster and then show him getting his cock sucked by a twink and expect it to fucking be believable. So the reality is they had to cool him off. And then they had the meeting of, are we going to fire this guy or are we actually going to go with it? And then Vince goes, damn, look at that big fucker. And then we're going to go with it no matter what. So doesn't matter how many times you do gay porn or slander the Bucks and Stephanie and Punk on bodybuilding.com or slide into some yoga chick on IG's DMs and get fucking
asking for booty pics.
Yeah, get exposed doing unsolicited nudes. We're going to go with squashing John Morrison because that's the most important thing for this big green motherfucker who will probably end up being the next Nathan Jones and never drawing a dime, never giving a fuck about the business, and being a closet whatever pervert to be a failed experiment of 2021. That's what I see happening, because when you have these types of perverse behaviors and then they're reinforced with bigger contracts and only small slaps on the wrist, and the reality of the messages you're sending, doest thou wilt, do whatever the fuck you want, Paige, whoever. Xavier Woods, he can stick, but Brad Maddox, peace out. Like these double and triple standards for what they want to do is blatantly apparent in the way things go forward. And every time he comes down the ramp and through the curtain, the last thing I'm thinking is, look at that big scary son of a bitch now.
Yeah. In this day and age, having uniform treatment of all employees is, to me, I mean, that there's no reason why that shouldn't be the norm. And so the fact that there's a standard of, if you're at a certain level of, I guess, value to the company, at least in their eyes, not even true value, but just the value that they think that you are, that allows you to get a free pass on things like that. Like as soon as he finally came back after the depraved videos came out and everything, and then he comes back within the week, we're finding out he's trying to, sexually harass his yoga instructor on Instagram. It's like, as soon as I heard that, if I was in charge, but like, well, we're done. He's done. We're going to take him out this next week. We'll have Braun Strowman kill him, or whoever the big guy is on SmackDown. And either that or just take him off TV completely. Just sweep it under the rug. Don't even acknowledge it. But I'm all about, you've already invested bringing him back, then just show him get killed off, and then that's it. in my opinion. But apparently they're going to double down on it. We'll see if between now and WrestleMania, I'll say about Nathan Jones, at least he had a WrestleMania, I guess, moment. That we'll see if Lars can make it to Mania before he does something else that gets him in hot water, and whether or not that will be the proverbial straw, the last straw, or the gimmick that breaks the camel's back. I can't even remember the actual thing. Or if he'll just be allowed to continue with said behavior and keeps on. But either way, I hate when that kind of behavior gets reinforced, because it sends a very dangerous message really to the rest of the locker room. And if anything, I think it sets the precedent for further issues with talent in regards to that kind of behavior.
What do you think this message sends to the locker room?
More B12.
Dude, when your fucking traps have a 1/4-inch vein inside of your trap, I mean, come on, catch, you fucker. I mean, you can go to Adam Shearer 99, don't give a fuck about his own business, and look at, dude, his traps are as big as my biceps with a huge vein running through it.
And upper traps are so cliche. It's the lower traps that really help to stabilize the scapula bin. He's going to get scapular dyskinesia if he keeps up with this. And I want to see him buff up those lower traps and really become a real man. You want to be a real man, Braun, you buff up those lower traps.
Those fucking trizzies.
The upper traps. It's everyone gets upper traps these days. I want the lower traps.
I'm looking real quick for, there was another.
He doesn't have them. He doesn't have lower. His lower traps are going to just rip on him. Everyone send Braun Strowman a message and tell him your lower traps fucking suck, bro.
They're worst, bro. And then here's your next winner in the fucking B12 challenge. Sammy Guevara. Hey, I can put on 40 pounds of muscle out of nowhere. Why the fuck not, dude? I'm just working hard, you know?
Yeah, last time I saw him, because I don't watch AEW that often, I remember he was a kind of a skinnier guy. But I mean, it wasn't like rail thin, but you know, he was really lean. Yeah.
2 weeks ago, he was a skinnier guy. Now, the secret of fitness, it's out there, you guys. You want to see?
I mean, the way I see it is, you know, gas or steroids. It's a part of professional sports. And it probably always will be. It's just a matter of not getting caught. The only thing I ask is people be more careful with it when they take it. There you go. There it is. It stops right here.
It stops right there. I'm an agent. Look at me, bro. Bigger than fucking Jey Uso. What is going on, and how long until everybody is caught and fucking under some police scrutiny down there, bro?
Well, here's the thing. Growth hormone, though, really, I mean, it's not impossible to test for, but it is an extremely expensive test, and one that I don't think they're going to be doing on the regular anytime soon. So my guess is probably a lot of these guys that are at least in companies that require them to do regular testing are probably more along the lines of taking a growth hormone versus taking an actual anabolic steroid, which brings its own other, you know, host of issues and things, but it is different. And so that would be my guess is probably a lot of these guys, if they aren't going to get caught, because they would have to buy it. I want to say, I could be wrong, but I literally think the test is thousands and thousands of dollars for just one test for testing for growth hormone. So I don't think it's not going to do it to every talent.
I think it's about somebody being jealous and stooging and wanting to tear people down. I mean, go right down the line. I just showed you those guys. Add Heath Slater, add Miro, add fucking Zack Ryder, fucking what's his name? Mike Kanellis. Insane amounts of muscle mass, you know, and a guy I don't want to shit on because I do like him and we've learned tons from him, but looks like he's got the thickness going a little bit too. You know what I mean? That growth belly and whatnot as he comes off of it. So
Al looks more jacked now than he did 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And the only thing like I said, it's going to happen. It's not going away. My only hope is that these guys are being smart with it and cycling on and off properly and taking care of their joints, whether it's taking glucosamine, whether it's making sure they're doing dynamic and static stretching. And again, making sure they aren't overusing or abusing. And it's quick and easy to do that with things like that. And it's easy to get addicted because, you start looking a certain way and you start feeling good. And then next thing you know, you're like, well, I can maybe do another month and then I'll cycle off. And then that starts to become a very dangerous mindset. And then that's where we see these stories decades later with these guys dying early. And so that's just my only hope, is that if this is going to continue in professional wrestling, and I don't see it going away anytime soon, that guys just please be smarter with it and do your research and have a true understanding of what you're doing to your body and what you need to do in order to keep it as healthy as possible. Again, I'm not by any means advocating for it, but I'm also understanding that it's going to happen. And there's certain ways that you can make it a lot worse for yourself, or at least be able to take care of yourself a little better.
Yeah, man. With the HGH, Jay Howe, as we rib and say, what are the side effects of HGH? Large bank accounts, pussy, and popularity. That's definitely it. People are saying Bobby Roode, too. I didn't really look too closely. He's always been in solid shape, but I would say his partner, the last fucking pics I saw of his former TNA partner, definitely looks like he found the secret to fitness, too. So, but really with the HGH, I think the biggest problem with that is physically is that it's human growth hormone. So it does make your heart bigger. And you see it in their foreheads and their cranium mass get bigger, your growth belly. But once they're off of that, your heart doesn't shrink back down.
And that's not good. It stresses the heart more.
Yes. And I think you're talking testosterone, whatever, Winstrol, D-ball, whatever those old school ones are that will make you leaned out. Yeah, but if these guys are putting on size, and they all fucking are, massive size and like striations everywhere, that is undoable. And that's when people end up dead a lot younger. And who knows, you mix that with some other bullshit of whatever pills or choice of the month because you can't handle depression and because you're fucking X amount, like you got mid-carded and now you're suicidal. Like, dude, have we learned nothing? Have we learned nothing from the fucking mid-90s of what went down? They came in and shut everybody down post-Benoit. You and I were there when they came in, and even Johnny Ace looked right at us, goes, we're not hiring anybody who even looks like they're on the shit. We're not taking any chances. Da, da, da. And then later that afternoon, he hired Ryback and who was the other dude?
Abraham Washington.
Who was gassed out of his fucking mind
and dropped the N-bomb in a promo. And we are all thinking, well, he's not going to get hired.
Yep.
We were wrong.
Red brought him back just for that week to like get a shot. He politicked his way back in and got hired. I remember Rip pulling me aside going, Popsy, you go over here and work on with this cocksucker on his promos. And he's doing all the fucking, NWA fucking gangster shit. I go, bro, Obama is getting put in office in 4 months. You have the perfect look. You don't talk like a gangster when you're talking normally. You need to work on some Obama shit. Instead, straight up fucking O-Dog from Menace to Society. He gets signed. They take him to fucking ECW. They make him into Obama. I'm just going, sweet. Another fucking fuckface asshole who gets hired. Meanwhile, here's the creative that I could see a mile away, and they're going to give it to this touch hole who's only going to fuck it up because he doesn't know how to be proper in the business, in the locker room, any of that type of shit, bro. And the double rib was post the CM Punk fucking, what's his name? Use an asshole. Tony Atlas fucking.
Oh, yeah.
Then they bring Tony Atlas up on the road in ECW and put him with him as the fucking Ed McMahon, just going as a rib, probably because of off that OVW CM Punk fucking interaction, Tony Atlas shit, bro.
Good times.
Great oldies. And that's how we do it on your Monday locker room gas attack close down, you guys. Thank you, Dr. Ted, for being here. We want to say shout out to our other co-host, the real RBV, getting that RBV fitness in there, high calorie intake, no cardio, working hard at the racetrack all weekend, also dealing with some grandma and grandpa health issues as well. And that trumps everything we got going on here in the phony world of wrestling. He'll be back, but please send him a shout out, a message on Twitter. Let him know you miss him. That stuff means a lot to him. And I enjoy having him here not just for his opinions and his hard work, but I hate reading headlines and he does it much better than I do. So we miss you for all those reasons and more, buddy. And we're thinking about you. And thanks to everybody tuning into all of our locker rooms. Like I said, Strangler Steve last week on the Friday was a great listen if you haven't listened to that yet. And also the Conspiracy Horsemen, 2 huge stories last week as we go into who the fuck knows what's going to drop with this Hunter Biden stuff. Triple H could be in deep Dutch by the time the week's all over with.
Yeah, well, I mean, really, the next couple months is going to be interesting based on the impending election and the implosion of society in the United States. So at least it seems that way. But in the meantime, we're going to continue to carry our flags and have a little fun and just do what we do best. And so I was true to my word last week. For those that are interested, you can go to the Hamin Media Group.podbean.com and the new Bourbon or Smoozin' and Boozin' podcast. The Bourbon podcast is finally up, the pilot episode. So I'd be curious to hear everyone's thoughts. Go and check it out again over at Hamin Media Group on the affiliate page. But yeah, it's going to be a crazy couple months, and I might have to get some more drinking in between now and the election. I had to put some more in the can while I still can.
Yeah, it's rough when you're going. It's 8:30 in the morning. Is it too early for whiskey? Maybe not.
No.
The headlines.
If I didn't have old ladies to go make squat, then I don't know if I would be able to hold myself back from cracking open a bottle.
But we're not going to hold back. It's the Monday locker room. That's the way we got to kick the week off. I'm so thankful for my friendship with Dr. Ted and also having him as my co-host, as a producer here. I know he's got to make him squat. I need thumbnails from him as well. So he's got a full day on Monday already. New Russo brand videos coming up over there at youtube.com. We're just going to keep cranking it out, you guys, nonstop. I look forward to tomorrow with Stevie and Vince, Russo's brand, recording the Raw and SmackDown review, and then getting back into some Master Shoot Theater. I'm sure there'll be plenty to talk about with all this salacious stuff and everybody getting jacked to the gills, having a good time. Appreciate Stevie being in the chat room this morning, as he's got a lot of projects he's undertaken, having a good time as well. And whenever anybody needs time off, there's always another soldier to jump in and fill their hole in the lines to make sure that we're on the right battlefront here and not losing ground. And I don't think we are. Just great stuff. The Discord is going awesome. We're launching hopefully Russo brand Discord this week. I was in there last night with them, trying to get them used to it. I'm still learning. We were having a little bit issue on this, that, and the other. So we're going to get with our own Colin Wise song, and he's going to school us on all that. I appreciate all the work he's been doing behind the scenes to do that. And also shout out to our street team guys. I've seen Vance Whalen and Ryder and those guys, and as well as El Plaja over at Hamin Media Group. Videos going viral 24 hours. We're getting 3,000 views on some stuff. So if you're over there on IG at Hamin Media Group, checking out our propaganda and kind of the support of the Conspiracy Horseman stuff, everybody from Kaz and El Plaja and all those guys really stepped up big this week. So I want to say thank you to the entire team. William Alicia and Javid running the Pick'em challenges and all of the hot news in the Hamin Media Discussion Facebook group. See everything you guys are doing, man. And I really appreciate everybody taking their own little piece of the pie and saying, hey, this is where I reside, and this is what I'm doing to help with the community build. No one has really dropped the ball with anything that they've been given. So if I'm forgetting somebody's name, please forgive me right now. If you're doing something, believe me, I know that it's going down, and it's very much appreciated, because we keep seeing numbers going up. Even Strangler Steve goes, hey, I think we're starting to catch fire on this, right? These are Plaja's like, have you seen these numbers? And that's what it takes. We did the brand split back this spring. It takes a little time and momentum, but now we're starting to see it, and it's all because of you guys. And we'll see if Boar Meets World goes over strong, and Hacker Hamin has to get his heat, because I think that's the next big battle coming. Right after I kill all these squirrels that these goddamn squirrels, they're getting in my pumpkins out front. They eat my pumpkins, beast. But ya Allah, we appreciate you. 37 strong here in the chat room, twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman, Ben Hamin, YouTube. It's the Monday locker room with the man beast and Hacker Hamin infidels. Ya Allah.